All right, folks, this whole Los Angeles Clipper thing is going crazy. We got the former head of CEO of Microsoft that wants to pay $2 billion to buy the Clippers. CNN's reporting that, according to sources, 2 doctors have examined Sterling. He's mentally incapacitated. That's a quote. And that he would make his wife the sole trustee of the Clippers. I don't know exactly what's going on here, but I think Peter Morici and C. Edmund Wright, I believe that Donald Sterling bought the Clippers for $12 million and is about to sell it, or at least somebody is possibly, for $2 billion. Now, I'm surprised I haven't heard from Al Sharpton yet that this man should not be allowed to keep the money that he makes on the profit of this sale.
Well, he's going to pay capital gains tax on it. I mean, that certainly isn't going to take it all away by any means. But, I mean, he basically took a risk. He invested in a second Los Angeles NBA franchise at a time when not all new franchises in the NBA were succeeding. And so he's held it for 20 years, and he's going to make a lot of money. I mean, that's the way the world works. Democrats do it all the time on Wall Street, and the president doesn't complain about that. He certainly doesn't tax them at anything more than the capital gains rate. So that's just the way of the world. I don't think there's any way this man can hold on to the Clippers. You and I may think what we like about political correctness and the fact that, his conversation was picked up in the manner that it was. Certainly it wasn't a smart thing to say, and it wasn't a good thing to say. But the reality is African Americans, dominate the rosters of the NBA, and they're simply not going to play on his basketball court. And you can't have a basketball game without the players.
Well, let me add this into the mix, Edmund, and this is that Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, who from the get-go talked about a slippery slope here. Then when the commissioner came out and issued the suspension and the ruling, voiced support for that, is now saying that F them about the other owners. I don't care if and fans. I don't care if nobody shows up to games. If I think the ethical thing to do is vote against the 29 other guys, meaning the other NBA owners, I will. So he says, I think you got to be very, very careful when you start making blanket statements about what people say and think as opposed to what they do. It's a very, very slippery slope. So you think Cuban's gonna be vote against that, against kicking him out? And do you think, Edmund, he'll be the only owner to do so?
Yeah, it's hard to predict because Cuban's made some statements. He's kind of gone a little bit back and forth when he got a little bit of blowback. Right. This latest statement is more back on his original tact. He may have a little bit of a problem with his players for the reasons Peter Morici mentioned. He may have a problem with his own Dallas Maverick players if he votes against this. The fact of the matter is nobody should lose a business, over what they think and what they said in private. But unfortunately, this is no longer private, and it's out there regardless of how it was obtained. And there's tremendous pressure. As far as being declared non-compos mentis, there's a lot of family trusts that go through this. This could get very, very ugly. And remember, Donald Sterling is himself a trial lawyer. So even if he's losing it a little bit around the edges, he could probably put up a formidable fight here if he wants to really drag it out to the bitter end still.
What do you think, Peter?
Well, he could drag it out, but I think at the end of the day, the way our culture is right now, it's not viable. And I think they should just take the money and leave.
Well, and I agree with that, but at the end of the day, maybe a year or two. His life expectancy with his illness and age can't be that long anyway.
Well, that's something else. And the question is who would succeed him in the family and running the franchise, and then what would they have to do to win back the players so that they would be willing to stand on their basketball court? That might be even more disconcerting to conservatives to see a successor owner within the family do everything he possibly could, to make it up. It may evolve in a way that's even more troublesome to us.
Well, yeah, if he passed away, I'm sure the $2 billion deal would just go through unabated. So,
let me run this by you, and we only have 2 minutes. There was a ruling. The transgender people receiving Medicare may no longer be automatically turned down for coverage for sex reassignment surgeries. This according to the HHS Review Board. They made this ruling today. It recognizes the procedure as a medically necessary and effective treatment for individuals who do not identify with their biological sex. In fact, they ruled in favor here of a 74-year-old Army veteran who requested to have Medicare pay for her genital reconstruction and was denied 2 years ago. I don't even know what to say anymore. Peter, do you want to try?
Well, we have revolved to the point where any kind of optional surgery is coverable if you get a lobby behind you. The only reason that nose jobs isn't recoverable is because they're not a political lobby, in the sense that beautiful rich women aren't organized. If they were, nose jobs would be covered as well. I have a lot of sympathy and empathy for people that are troubled by gender identification. It is a real issue. The question is, should society be responsible? Is this something else that needs to be socialized?
All right, 30 seconds. You can
so.
answer that, Edmund. 30 seconds.
Well, what I'd like to say is I think we've solved the VA crisis. Just have every veteran put down they want sex change, and then they have sex with Sandra Fluck, and obviously our government will bring it right to them. So
There you go.
Well, they'll certainly get seen. That's for sure. It appears they'll get seen. Hey, gentlemen, thank you very much. Good to talk to you as always. Peter Morici and C. Edmund Wright. When we come back, the mother of the Marine who's being held in a Mexican prison. What a horrific story. Don't go away.